What came in the mail finally? I got the sump gaskets, 2 end ones, which then you got to have your three, I think it's 3-course sealant or something like that, but a sealant around the edge of the sump, and these go on the very end. Also, because that transmission is leaking, new filter and new gasket, but it's probably a good idea to redo it anyway. Okay. Just draining the transmission. It's coming down well. I've taken pretty much all the back ones, pretty much all the side ones, minus I think 1 or 2 at the very front closest to me. Just because if you take the pan right off, it'll just go bloop and flood everywhere. So just drain it where it can to the max, and then I'll be taking out more oil. Out of there, girl. Yeah, so that's the start of it. Well, that's the look of the trans oil. It's pretty dirty and dark. Okay, so I've got that transmission pan out. I can see why that was leaking, because it was brittle at the back, and this is very thin junky stuff. I don't know what that is. It's going to have a nice thick rubber one that goes back on, and looks like some sort of code there on the filter, and you got your magnets down the back as well. I don't know, that's just white fluff that jumped in there. But yeah, there's your 2 magnets. Going to clean the pan up, and she has got a couple. Oh, there's a dint in there, which I'm going to try to repair, but I'll do a closer look later. Alright, let's get into it. Just brought out the replacement filter. It's already got its O-ring on. I removed, make sure when you pull these out, you get rid of, there's an O-ring that can stay in there. You just get sort of like an L shape. In my case, I use a very small Allen key. Pulled it down. This doesn't have those big numbers on it, so yeah. But the shape's identical. Should be the right part anyway. By ordered number. Alright, let's get into it. Okay, so I've cleaned the inside of the pan out. Now, when it comes to the engine sump and it had the hole in the bottom or on the side, I think they've hit a rock, because on here, see that? It's pushed in a little bit. If I look on this side, it's got a dent. So I'm going to use my good old small little panel beam tools. I'm going to see if I can just bring that a little bit back into shape. But I think they've hit a big rock or something, and it's hit that side, because they're all on the same side, so maybe a good sized rock slammed into it or something. Like a Titanic hit. Alright, anyway, let's go. Okay, so I bashed that dint out. It's come up pretty good. Just more cosmetic than anything. I don't think it could hurt anything. And I've installed the 2 freshly cleaned magnets. So I'm going to give this a nice gloss black on the outside and go from there. Okay, she's in a nice gloss top coat paint. So that, with how the sump's painted all nice and silver over there, that'll look good with the 2-tone black and silver again. So yeah, I'll let that dry. Got to get some sealant for that too. Forgot. Okay, so I've got the gasket on. I just put a very small amount of sealant around each bolt hole, and also silicone underneath the gasket so it stays on there, sticks on there, gives it just a bit extra shield. And going to be putting that on as well. There's all the bolts nice and cleaned. Okay, so I've got the transmission sunpan on. It's nice and clean, all the bolts. So in with the slip of the phone. Now on these, it looks like the filler is on the back of the right hand driving side at the rear. So I've cracked it loose in preparation for, I think that's the fill plug. I looked up FG filling them and stuff like that, but I couldn't really find much on YouTube. So that's where I'm sure that's the filler plug that starts to unwind and stuff, and there's nothing else around there. So on the joining video to this, I'll be doing some research and seeing how much oil to pump in, and go from there. But today, that's done.